Dear brothers and sisters, this is a homily for third Sunday of Ordinary Time, Year C. The statement, "Why eyes were fixed on him" from the Gospel is the point of departure as far as the message of this Sunday is concerned. Furthermore, this message is seen in the three readings of today because in the first reading, after having returned from Babylonian exile, Ezra the priest tries to reconstruct and restore religious aspects for the people of Israel. In other words, he helps them to fix their attention, their faith, their love, and their hopes on God again by listening to the book of the law. Again, in the second reading, St. Paul gives us the image of the body parts which are firmly fixed together so as the body can harmoniously perform one function. Therefore, in this Sunday reflection, we shall respond to the following questions. Why do we need to fix our eyes on Christ? What does the text of Isaiah quoted in this gospel passage teach us today? And lastly, what are some of the liturgical postures used in the readings that can be put in use in our liturgy today? First and foremost, this gospel passage of today is situated in one of Jesus' public ministry life. During this period that we call Galilean period, Jesus interacted with the people, healed those who were sick, and taught them on daily basis. In a summary way, about this Galilean period, Jesus lived an ordinary life characterized by working, interacting with others, and above all, prayer, as seen by many occasions that he attended synagogue religious ceremonies. In fact, in the synagogue, Jesus would rebuild and strengthen his relationship with his Father. Moreover, this gospel passage for third Sunday of Ordinary Time has two main sections, namely the prologue, in which St. Luke talks of his objective of writing this gospel, and of course the methodology he used, that is, eyewitness source of information. Second, Jesus in the synagogue at Nazareth. Nevertheless, our special interest for now is the section that concerns Jesus Christ in the synagogue at Nazareth. Jesus being in the synagogue is part and parcel of his daily life before his final journey to Jerusalem. What are the three messages from this gospel? 1. To fix our eyes on him. 2. The work of the Spirit. And lastly, liturgical posture so as to listen to the word of God. Let us begin with to fix our eyes on him. When one is driving, he or she is obliged to look or focus forward. Similarly, in the first reading, Ezra helps the people of Israel to fix their intentions and attention on the Pentateuch as the Word of God, hence focusing on God. In the second reading, St. Paul uses body parts to remind us the importance of being fixed to Christ. Moreover, in the Gospel text, the people in the synagogue fixed their eyes on Christ. Why? They waited for interpretation, and he is the prophecy accomplished. Here, Luke invites us to fix our eyes, our minds, our hopes, and our faith on the person of Jesus Christ, and in the event, build a good relationship with him. We are invited to focus on how Christ lived, such as going to the synagogue on the Sabbath. Do we go to church on Sunday? to focus on how Christ worked and interacted with the people during his Galilean period. What characterizes our daily life as Christians today? Indeed, Galilean period for Jesus Christ represents our daily life as Christians. To fix our eyes to Christ means to build our relationship with him by following him, his commandments, and living according to his teachings. The second message is, what does the text of Isaiah quoted by Jesus Christ teach us? This text gives us what the Spirit does in Jesus. Why? He is anointed with the Spirit, and that is why he will proclaim the good news to the poor, to proclaim liberty to the captives, to bring new sight to the blind, and to proclaim the year of favor. To us, in baptism and in confirmation, we received the Holy Spirit. Are we good news to the poor today? Do we inspire the afflicted? Do we help the exploited? Do we fight all forms of injustices in our society? Do we give new sight to those who suffer from social and financial difficulties? Lastly, liturgical posture so as to listen to the Word of God. Gestures and posture in liturgy help us to be well disposed before God. For example, in the first reading, when Ezra was reading the Pentateuch on a raised ground, the people were standing so as to understand. Also in the Gospel passage, Jesus read the scroll from Prophet Isaiah while standing. What does it mean to us? This posture of standing is adopted in the liturgy today, especially when reading the Gospel passage at Holy Mass. What are the reasons for that? 1. The Eucharistic celebration is the heavenly banquet for the resurrected. Therefore, the posture for the resurrected is to stand up. Second, we are more alert and attentive while standing. Lastly, this posture is traditionally accepted as seen in the scripture today. To conclude, on this third Sunday of Ordinary Time Year C, we are invited to fix our eyes, our minds, our hopes, and our faith on Christ. Amen. Have a blessed Sunday.